JJ the CPA here. Hope you're doing well. Want to touch base with you on the EIDL and the EIDL grant. There's no second EIDL. The second EIDL grant is going to be targeted, in essence, to those that are most hard hit, according to the government, by the COVID-19 pandemic financially, which is first and foremost designed to help those that are in the low income designated areas, and that would be defined by what the IRS has indicated. You don't have to worry about it today. More, I want to provide you this information for your own planning purposes. The thing to note is that if you take a little bit of time and you Google as well about the EIDL and more specifically the EIDL grant, careful to make sure you're looking at things that have been published really though in the last couple of days. You'll see that there is still a lot of uncertainty on how it will really work out of the stimulus program. The reason for that is that the SBA now needs to come out and clarify a number of things. But what is a certainty is that there is not a second EIDL. So if you have applied for the Economic Injury Disaster Loan at the SBA.gov, we're not going to have another opportunity to go and apply for another loan. And with that being said, if you need more than $150,000, many people don't know this, but you can, in conjunction with your bank and in conjunction with the bank working with the SBA specific to the EIDL loan, those are still available above the $150,000, and they've always been available. Now I'm going to tell you here at the end, because I don't want to get in the weeds on this one, but many people are confused. Unfortunately, there's even some banks out there that don't seem to quite understand when the EIDL is going through the bank, and that's above the $150,000. Now, let's come back to the grant. So there's a real misconception that there's going to be another $10,000 for everybody. There's another misconception that if you go hurry and apply, you might get the next 10,000. Or if you didn't get the 10,000 when you applied for your EIDL, whether you got it or not, that you should hurry and apply to get the other EIDL grant. What I feel very confident in is that the new EIDL grant is a separate and distinct program. Now, with that being said, my understanding is that if you, let's break this into categories, if you have applied for the EIDL loan online, SBA.gov, and you had the opportunity to request an EIDL grant, otherwise known as the advance, and you got it, but it was during the era that it was $1,000 per employee up to $10,000. So if you got less than $10,000, here's what we hear, okay, is that the SBA will contact you. Doesn't seem to be at this moment, given that the law was really just put into play very recently here. There's not an opportunity at the moment, today being December 31st, for you to contact the SBA, for you to go and apply for it. I think you'll muck up the system. So potentially, those that didn't get the full 10,000, it is indicated, still very unclear, not me that's unclear, it's just unclear whether or not you'll get the rest of it. Why does that actually be a possibility? Well, the EIDL has been around a long time. I've talked about it before. It's originally available for those that suffered from drought, forest fire, hurricane, tornado. And it always, before COVID-19, was a flat $10,000 while you were applying for the regular EIDL loan that you got. Well, because of the pandemic and as many applications as there were, the SBA, to help make sure the money would last, decided to do $1,000 per employee up to $10,000. So I'm still on that first category, that my understanding is that the SBA will be contacting you. When? It is unclear at this point. Not unclear by me, it's simply unclear. Then there's a second category, those that applied for the EIDL, but at the time, the EIDL grant was no longer available, because we know about late summer, the EIDL grant program for COVID-19 victims went away. Why? Because it ran out of money. So this out of the stimulus is to put money, more money, but put money back into the grant program for those that are under the COVID-19 need, if you will. So it is also unclear if those that applied when there was no grant will now get a $10,000 amount. And why is that? Well, because at the time that you applied, my understanding is there wasn't even an opportunity for you to actually be considered for it because it was out of money. So bottom line is that it's very unclear if it's going to be retroactive. The thing to note is that for Category 2, if you applied for the EIDL and you didn't get it at all in terms of the EIDL grant, so to be clear, you applied for the EIDL, and at the time you applied, it was not available in terms of the grant, the EIDL grant. Didn't even have money to pay you. So if you're in that second category, it seems as though it would be the SBA that's going to reach out to you. Maybe. I'm confident the SBA will come out and clarify this for us soon. Now there's a third category. Those that haven't even applied for the EIDL at all. So would it make sense for you to go and apply now for the EIDL and get the grant? Well, right now I would tell you this. If you need an EIDL loan, you need that up to $150,000. You need the loan. Don't go apply for that just to get the grant. What you should be doing is applying for the EIDL. As I indicated, the SBA announced that that program's being extended all the way until 12/31/21. Doesn't mean there's another round of EIDL. It just means they're going to continue to make the EIDL available to COVID-19 victims. Remember, it's been around a long time. It's just they're going to extend the ability one time for those that need to borrow money due to COVID-19 that they're able to do that. So if you haven't done that and you need it, then yes, you should do that. SBA.gov. It's a repayment over 30 years, 3.75% rate. Pay it off anytime you want. And it's 1 year deferment for you to be able to, or before you have to make any payments. Now, many of you are probably, though, going, well, wait a second, I'm hearing that there's another grant. I'm hearing there's another grant we can apply for with the SBA, this $10,000 grant, even if we got the grant before. And you would be correct. That is this specific program, as I indicated earlier, that would require applying, but I feel very confident that you're not going to be able to apply for it in this moment in time on 12/31 through the normal way that you would apply for the EIDL loan. What does that mean? Well, if there's a second program that you're able to apply for with this EIDL grant number 2, okay, it's through a program that's going to have different questions, different qualifications, as I indicated earlier, starting with the low income. So it's going to have a separate application process because the application process wouldn't be to get the loan. The thing to note is that when you go to SBA.gov and you are applying for the loan, you're applying for the loan. You're not applying for a grant. You're applying for the loan, and the current EIDL program for those that are not suffering from COVID-19, that are hit possibly, let's say, with the forest fires, they're able to get that grant, but it's because they're applying for the loan, if that makes sense. It's not just to get the grant. So the current way to absolutely, I think, muck up the waters for yourself is that if you already got an EIDL loan, you should not be going to SBA.gov and applying for another loan because it's not available. There's not a second loan. And even if you feel that you should do that because it might put you first in line to get the grant, I think your chances of mucking up the waters more than your chances of thinking you're first in line may not be wise. So you're going to do what you feel you need to do. And I know many are in a panic. Many are feeling that they need to hurry and get the EIDL grant. But remember, you don't want to end up in the wrong line. You don't want to end up in the line where they've handed out water bottles since the beginning and you get one water bottle per business and you get back in that line, not to find out that, well, you're not going to get any more water bottles in that line, and you now have got in the wrong line. So right now, be patient. It'll be known. Rest assured. I mean, I know right now on YouTube, people just can't help themselves to just have $10,000 grant everywhere. So you'll notice that my thumbnail didn't say $10,000 grant, so probably won't get as many views as others. But I don't care about that, because this is really for a specific group that have been with me since the beginning. I put together my videos as a CPA that would also help my clients. So you're in essence listening in to the advice I'd be giving my clients. So you do what you feel you need to do. What I would be putting my clients up against the wall and near forcing them to do is wait. I'd be telling my clients to wait. Wait until the SBA comes out and clarifies. If you feel you're going to get any more from the EIDL program, the SBA at this point has indicated they will contact you. SBA has been phenomenal in helping. And so I think on the side of the SBA being generous the way that they can, I bet in the long run, if you didn't get the full amount of $10,000, I think there's more likely than not you'll be able to get it. If you didn't get it at all, probably might be a chance you're going to get it. But it will be a process. The SBA, in my opinion, right now, is that they're going to contact you. And then the second EIDL, they just haven't put the application process out there. All right, hopefully that was thorough enough. There seems to be a lot of miscommunication, misunderstanding, misinformation out there. So stay tuned to my channel, because you know this, as soon as new information comes out, I'm bringing it to you. And know this, I do this in essence for fun, if you will. I enjoy helping you. And yes, I am monetized. You obviously know that. But I'm a practicing CPA. And so anytime I'm doing a video, it's to bring value. It's not to just do a video to gain views, because I'm not relying on this in any way, shape, or form for revenue. All right, hey, thanks for tuning in. I always forget to ask, so if you've made it to here and you're not a subscriber, I've provided value. All I ask is that you click subscribe. I don't make any money, doesn't cost you anything, but I would love it if you did. All right, hey, don't you ever forget, you've never met a CPA quite like me.